I have a pair of common pliers right here, and first of all, it's important to discuss the different parts of them and understand what they do. So first off, you have the grips right here. This is what you rest your hands on, usually just one hand, and they're made of rubber, which insulates against electricity and provides a more comfortable holding ability. In the center, you have the pivot point, what transfers the motion from behind to the front, and that's usually in the front part. It's also called the fulcrum point, which that's just a physics term for a pivot point. Inside the pliers, there are sections with grooved and ribbed areas. This is going to allow you to get a better grip on what you have, what you're holding on to. Similarly, there is a cutting section on many of them. Right here you can see the circular part, and this is going to allow you to cut wires, rope, strand, yarn, and different things without having to go for scissors or something like that. As I mentioned before, this is a common pair of pliers here. It doesn't have any real strengths in anything, but it's a good general tool to have in your toolbox. It's got some grooves, like I mentioned before, that allow you to get a good grip on whatever you're doing, and a section in the middle to cut wire or string. It makes it quick and easy. I have all sorts of different types of pliers here, and I'm going to talk to you about them. First one we have right here is called a slip joint. This one is called a slip joint because instead of one pivot point, it has two. Sometimes they even have more. What this allows is that right now you can see it's fully closed. When I open it, slip it, then it'll open it a little wider. This allows you to get an even wider grip on things for those bigger objects like faucets, handles, and just gives you some more versatility. It has it's a concave inside. You can see it's curved right there with more grooves, which makes it perfect for round objects like pipes and stuff. These are called pipe grips, and it's a common thing in pliers to have a sort of circular grabbing mechanism. After that, we have wire cutters, also known as cutters. These ones have diagonally down shaped so that they're really sharp right there. Next up, we have our wire cutters. Wire cutters are good for cutting wire, metal, mesh, and they're really good at their job. They're not too great at anything else, and you don't want to use this for pulling different things or tightening because you're going to dull out the blades right here. They're not the sharpest in the world, but they're very strong, and they can definitely help you with cutting wire or splicing wire. If you do it, they actually have a small center point in there, which allows you to put a wire in, close it most of the way, then pull it through, and you can splice a wire. Next up, we have our tongue groove. Tongue and groove is called because it has a tongue right here, which is like the pivot point, and the groove has multiple different options for you to choose. The tongue groove can go all the way closed, pretty small, to all the way really large, and this is great for big piping and plumbing things where you need a really large access point. Personally, I think hoses and outdoor faucets is this one's strong suit. Similarly, it has a really good angle, I find, that makes it really easy to take bolts, nuts, washers, and really just tighten them well. And because how long it is, you can often get some really good torque on there, and it's a good overall tool to have. Finally, we have our locking pliers. This right here has an adjustable knob that allows you to tighten it, making it go in smaller, and then when you close it, it's tight, or loosen it and have it get bigger and bigger. So this is really nice for that adjustable and fine touch things. For example, if you have a bunch of the same bolt that you're trying to do, you fine tune it into that setting that you need, then you can quickly open and close it right on there, and you don't need to worry about it. It's got a lot of really strong grooves, which make it really grippy, and to once you have it closed, sometimes it's a little awkward to open it, and what you do is it's got this thing right here that pops it open. You just pop it, and it'll come out right open. So this one's a really good locking plier to have because it just makes your job easier, and you don't need to fine tune to fiddle around with this one each time or something. So locking plier is definitely a good thing to have to your toolbox. I hope you found this tutorial useful. give you some good tips on what pliers you can use, how they work, and yeah. Delete the AMD app part.